Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining us again for Coast to Coast Legal Aid's Fridays with Friends. We are super excited to have our Deputy Director, Margate Estevez, join us as our host today, along with Officers Rachel and Officer Sam from the Margate Police Department. And again, thank you guys for joining us, and I'm going to turn it over to Margate, our host.
Thank you, Alicia. As Alicia said, I'm Margate Estevez. I'm the Deputy Director at Coast to Coast Legal Aid. I'm also a member of the Domestic Violence and Family Unit of Coast to Coast Legal Aid. Today, we're honored to have Officers Rachel and Sam from the Margate Police Department to lend some information and to give some resources to our community residents. We at Coast to Coast Legal Aid, we rely on the support of local law enforcement. We appreciate them taking the time to meet with us today to discuss some of the problems that we've been seeing in the community in the face of COVID. And also, we appreciate their dedication, putting themselves out on the line for us, for their dedication not only to us, but to the safety of our community and of our residents. So the goal today is to give you a presentation and information of resources within our community, in particular information as it relates to domestic violence in COVID. We also are going to touch upon some scams that the police departments have been seeing, especially scams targeting the elderly in our community, who we feel are one of the most vulnerable. Coast to Coast Legal Aid is going to be hosting these events every Friday, and we've titled them Fridays with Friends. So we encourage you to like our Facebook page, follow us, and you'll be able to watch not just the event we're currently hosting live, but also events for the future and our past events. So to begin the conversation, I'm going to be talking about concerns as they relate to domestic violence incidents during quarantine. Anecdotally, we've been hearing that the domestic violence incidents are increasing in their occurrences, but that they may be underreported. I believe that probably this is going to be a little bit of fear on behalf of the victim, scare tactics on behalf of the abuser, and also misinformation about what is going on. So to begin, I'm going to ask the officers if they've heard or have seen a decline in the number or an increase in the number of domestic violence cases being reported.
So we have heard that this is, I'm going to take it. We have heard that this is going on, not just with domestic violence cases, but really with anything. We know that people are not calling in for what they might used to have called in for, but we want to make sure that people know that if there is an emergency, call us. With whatever agency it is that you live in, whatever jurisdiction you live in, your law enforcement officers want you to call in and don't want you to be scared or any victim to go unnoticed.
I would really like to echo your statements and urge followers that are watching, perhaps outside of Broward County, please locate your local law enforcement department, inform yourselves, get their numbers, be it 911 or non-emergency, and also reach out to the local legal aid in your community. Get the information necessary to protect yourself. These are unprecedented times and no one needs to be living in fear. We all have a right to protect ourselves and to be free from fear and free from physical harm. Having said that, I've received several questions on our forum about whether or not the courthouse is still available for petitioners of intimate partner violence to get injunctions. And I would like to let you guys know, I'm speaking specifically from Broward County's perspective. Our courthouse is not open to the public, but they are still open for the filings of restraining orders or injunctions. You may go to the room 2140 of the Broward County Courthouse to file your petition. They're open from 8:30 to 5. I would like to caution you, if you're a petitioner going to file, they do have a mask mandate, so you must be wearing a mask in order to enter the facility. You need to tell the BSO officers that are there that you are there to file an injunction. These injunctions are also afforded to victims after hours. So if the crime occurs after 5 or on the weekends, you can also solicit help by contacting Women in Distress of Broward. Their phone number for the crisis line is 954-761-1133. They will have a series of questions, but they are available. So Officer Fenor, have you seen any issues with filing of injunctions or anything regarding a victim's right to access an injunction for protection?
No, we haven't seen anything currently, but to like what Rachel said, um, a lot of people, the call volume has gone down because people are kind of iffy on what they should call about during this time. And like you said, and Rachel said, that doesn't matter what the circumstance is, as it was before, you should always contact 911 if anything is not right, you're fearful of anything, if you need any information. Just contact your non-emergency numbers, or if that doesn't work, contact 911.
As far as our office, we are closed to the public. The building is, but we are still working remotely. If you are a victim of crime, you can contact our office either by email or website at www.coasttocoastlegalaid.org, or you can call us at 954-736-2400. Now, going back to the restraining orders, even though the courthouse is closed, if you do petition the court for an injunction, you will have a hearing. Your hearing date will be facilitated via Zoom or an avenue like this, a platform like this. I do want to caution victims of intimate partner violence appearing remotely. If you have moved to a confidential location, or if your abuser is not aware of where you currently are staying, please make sure to avail yourself of the blur background of the Zoom platform, or change your location so that it is not readily available to the abuser and he would not be able to identify where you currently are. Additionally, if your phone number or your email address is not known to the abuser, please also contact case managers at the courthouse. You can find their information through a Google search, but you should know that that information can be requested to be kept confidential. So, are these restraining orders that are being granted remotely still enforceable? And I'll defer to the officers to explain that the service process and all other aspects of this are still up and running.
Yes, definitely. Just as with any other kind of call or crime that takes place, everything in law enforcement, we still work 24/7. Broward Sheriff's Office, Margate Police Department, any other jurisdiction, we are still operating on absolutely a normal circumstance. And I know Sam can vouch for that as well. Our department is obviously, like we said, the call volume is less, but our resources and our services are exactly the same as they would prior to COVID, and exactly as they would be after COVID. So any services that people need, whether it's victim services, our victim advocate is still fully here. Our court liaison, we are still working at 100% capacity.
Yeah, and just to say, if you do need to come to the Margate Police Department or any other police department, I'm pretty sure that we all just have to make sure that you're wearing your mask. But our offices, our doors are always open as it was before. And yeah, if any services that you guys need, you can contact us.
Yes. And we speak on behalf of any jurisdiction. Every police agency is still providing all services. You know, just as we don't close at 5 p.m., we don't close because of COVID. So we don't want people to be nervous or feel like they can't call in. We say the same thing for people don't want to call in for maybe they see something suspicious going on in their neighborhood. We are full service and we are still working and moving right along. So everyone should be calling should they need anything.
Because the courthouse isn't operating in person, if you do have a scheduled hearing and you do have a restraining order that is granted, the courthouse will be sending you the paperwork by mail. So just keep that in mind. There may be a slight delay, but please, like the officers have said, they are still up and running. Violations of injunctions are still enforceable. Crime is still something that we need to report, and the officers will do their very best to help keep us all safe. In addition to domestic violence cases being on the increase, we've also heard that scams against people, especially COVID-related scams, are on the rise. Officer Fenor, have you seen or heard of any of these scams?
Yeah, there's a lot of scams that are happening. Obviously, there were scams happening before this, and now that COVID has come about, there's a lot more scams that are happening because they're prying on people's fears. One of the scams that are going around is people impostoring either healthcare workers. They basically call this like switch and bait kind of things. They come to your door, basically trying to talk to you about anything that's trying to check up on you or anything like that. Maybe they'll say that they need to come in your house for anything to check around. Usually what happens is a two-person team. The first person usually talks to the person in front of their house. The other person is usually making their way around the house, and that person is going through your jewelry boxes, your wallets, your purses, anything they can grab. And there usually is a 2 to 3 minute ordeal. They're coming in your house and they're out and they're gone. Another thing that we see too is people calling in and asking for your social security number to provide you the stimulus checks. The government does not call you. They don't send you emails. Usually a correspondent happens through mail, or the correspondent is you call and they'll tell you a time that they'll be calling you back. So anytime that anybody requests from any information from you through your email or through online, or they come to your door and they ask you any private information, the government, state, local, and federal does not come to your door and knock or provide you anything, any services randomly. Everything is usually a call, and they'll give you guidance to who's calling. So we recommend that if somebody does come to your house, do not open your door. You can always call us. When it comes down to even Comcast or FP&O, call your building first and see if they had any unscheduled contractors to come to your building. If not, always call 911. It's better that you call us, because if we're able to intercept and see who these people are and either validate them or see what they're up to, but this gives us an opportunity to actually, stop what's going on. But yes, there's a lot of things going on, especially with the stimulus checks and people impersonating doctors or healthcare providers. None of that is happening. Anytime a healthcare provider is going to come to an area, they'll make sure that they're escorted by police and make it known that they're doing something in the area.
And again, if you feel that you are the victim of a crime, reach out to your local police department. At Coast to Coast Legal Aid, we are funded through the Victims of Crime Act. We are specifically funded to represent victims of intimate partner violence and those victims that are 60 and older. But our sister agency, Legal Aid of Broward, may be able to assist you. At the end of this, we will be posting frequently asked questions in the comment section. We will also be giving information that has been provided to you today, so that in case you missed it, you can refer back to the comment section. I also want to take this opportunity in this moment to give the community some information about Margate Police Department. On May 5th, I believe, you guys will be hosting a community crime watch. And we encourage everyone to follow you on social media and on Facebook at Margate FLPD, I think it is, or Margate FL Police.
Yes.
Police, yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit more about this event?
So ever since last year, we do individual HOA and neighborhood watch groups. But what we wanted to do was being able to pass on safety and tips.
Crime prevention tips.
Yeah, crime prevention tips to the masses. And we decided to call this event called the Ripple Effect. And the Ripple Effect was a moment where our whole city, doesn't matter if you live in Margate or not, because the information is it goes past your restriction lines. We wanted our community to come into one building and basically get to meet our officers and pass on information that can better protect themselves. And so last year we did it, and it was a great turnout. And this year we are attempting to do it, but this whole COVID thing kind of changed up the plan. So we decided to do it virtual. And me and Rachel were—
But the information is still— yeah, the information is still just as important. Sometimes people forget the basics because of what's going on with COVID, and we want to make sure that we're still able to provide them with crime prevention and safety tips so that they are still aware of what's going on in the community.
Absolutely.
So again, we appreciate everyone that's on this video conference watching us live. We encourage everyone, even though it's stressful times, we are facing things we have never seen before, to maintain your safety And if you need anything, please reach out to either your local law enforcement department or to your local legal aid. Again, once this live feed ends, we'll be posting any questions or comments below. We will also be giving you frequently asked questions. We hope that everyone is safe and healthy. We hope to resume operations as normal. I'm sure the officers feel the same way. Community policing and being part of the community is a big part of what you all do, and we appreciate it. I know as a practitioner myself, I really miss being with my clients, the courthouse staff, and everyone else. So hopefully we'll get back to normal as soon as and as healthy as possible. So again, I appreciate Margate Police Department, Chief Shaw, and everyone over there who has graciously given you guys to us for the last 15 minutes. Hopefully everyone on this call has learned a little bit. Do not hesitate to call us. Again, our information is on the web at www.coasttocoastlegalaid.org. Follow us on Facebook. Follow the Margate Police Department on Facebook and their social media. And thank you all so much again. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.